sit between the bottom line of what the chair of the Budget Committee had in comparison to our number. After the meeting, it was, Mr. Cutler sent an email out and had omitted the two adjustments that were made to the bottom line for the water rate increase to $3,346. And there was also an increase to the school district budget for $41,000, which represented a projected increase in the school transportation budget. So we were, as the cover memo indicates to you folks, we were able to reconcile the general fund budget to $19,761,322.57, the grant fund of $575,000, and food service fund $594,702, making the total operating fund for the school district of $20,931,024.57. Also, well, I'll stop there and if there's any questions.
So, on Wednesday, or Thursday, at the last budget hearing, the budget committee moved a number of $20,886,678.57. And at which point in time, myself, the business manager, and Dr. Cochran all shared with the budget committee that number was incorrect by about $44,000 to $46,000. And we had a lengthy conversation on that, and they went ahead and moved the lower number and voted that. So that technically is the approved number that's in front of us as a school board. My recommendation is the school board vote down that, supporting that budget number. At the flip side of that, some members of the budget committee had said that they would make a correction the next opportunity they had, which will be tonight, we hope. And that would then move the number to the $20,931,024.57 that Frank just provided us with. And I would recommend that the school board accept that number. So it really puts us in a position of really having to vote on two different numbers based on what the budget committee then does in about an hour.
Do we have to vote tonight, or can we wait to see what they do?
Well, we don't technically have to support a warrant article until, well, it needs to be posted a week before our meeting, so.
7
it
days
needs
prior, it
be
has to
on
be posted, the default.
So we could
warrants
technically not vote on it until next week when we meet again.
Ideally, too, we'd have a 5-0 vote, so I don't want to wait for her anyway.
But, right now, as the number stands, I wouldn't vote to support as it stands today.
Agree with that.
I think if we're going to vote on anything, we have to vote on the number that the budget committee put forward.
Yeah, because technically, they haven't approved that number yet, so voting on the other number wouldn't even, voting on the $20,931,000 would be a real vote, right?
Technically, you would need to vote on the budget committees, because again, by the RSA, the school board recommends the school district budget to the budget committee.
Yeah.
When it comes out of the budget committee, it's their budget.
Yep.
Recommended for it, so
And then we both
you have to
recommend
go
again.
with their number. That's why I'm saying it. I think you're right. You probably shouldn't vote on the warrant tonight, on warrant one. If you want to vote on the other four, you can, but certainly on this one, because the number, it wouldn't receive a favorable, it sounds like it wouldn't receive a favorable recommendation from the board based on the budget committee's number, which we know in likelihood will be amended tonight.
And we already voted on all the other ones, so I don't think we have to revote.
I don't think you voted on all the other
I
ones.
don't think we voted on any of them.
Yeah, we voted on any warrants,
No.
except the teacher's contract.
You didn't vote except the teacher's contract.
Do they need?
So, how did we know how people were going to vote?
Because I was projecting that. You,
Projected.
Okay.
you have a no. You have a draft in your packet. that
I
doesn't
read
have
it
that.
and I thought this would be a really short meeting, but that's
So
fine.
that's right, we have not,
We have not voted yet. Do we need to vote on these before they're presented tonight?
It's really the Budget Committee that's presenting their vote on your warrants tonight.
Yeah, so I don't think we even have
So
to.
you can delay if you want until next week.
I mean, we could
Gonna
vote, but I prefer to
change?
re-vote again after
Is it,
all
it's
five
not
members
gonna
are here.
change at the budget hearing.
yeah, the warrants can't
The only thing that can
change.
change is the operating budget number,
Right.
or the default budget number. Because we can change the default budget number after, up to 7 days prior. We can change that and revote it.
Frank, isn't our correct number in Article 1, 19,761,000?
Yes, that's why I'm saying I wouldn't recommend that you vote it tonight until, that is the correct number. 20,931,024.57. That is not the Budget Committee's number.
No, the 19,761 in Article
Correct.
1. That's our number.
Well,
Well,
technically it is the correct number.
The correct number
It's not the voted number.
Not
is the
voted number,
20,931,024.57.
That's the number we want, but-
That's not the Budget Committee's voted number for your budget.
correct.
No, but it is the number that I think is gonna be moved tonight. Is it not?
Sure.
Huh?
Save us some confusion.
So, Andrew Cutter, 6 Masala Road. I am the Budget Committee Chairman. Thank you very much for inviting me here tonight. The Budget Committee does fully intend to move the $20,931,024.57. There was an error as presented this evening of about $46,000, $41,000 for transportation, $3,346 for water. That will be added back in, and in fact is already included within our budget hearing presentation tonight, which I don't intend to amend again. But we will have a short hearing before the budget hearing to make the votes official on increasing that bottom line budget. Okay?
Thank you.
So my suggestion is you could vote on that warrant with the correct number, subject to, unless you want to revisit it at your next board meeting next
I
week.
guess my recommendation would just be to revisit it, just because, A, it's not final yet, and B, we don't even have a full board, so we'd probably be re-voting anyway. We do need it to prove a default, though, before we go. Is that correct? Correct.
I was gonna say, if we are gonna vote on one, we should vote the default first. Because if you don't get consensus on the default, then
And we're in trouble.
there's other problems. You have to get to consensus.
That's right, before we leave the room.
Yes, we had that entertainment last year.
Then we have to vote on the rest of the warrants, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Other
but we
than
can
two.
vote on those next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my only question about the warrants, though, would be, did we want, that was 800, 710, 701.
I guess the only-
You had mentioned you might want to ask for the teacher contract to be reopened if you voted. Do we
Well,
want to do that?
I think that the board needs to
No,
decide
you
whether or
told me to
not they
wait.
want to ask the budget committee.
I'll get
Now,
it
they
after
can
this.
do it on their own.
Yeah.
But I need direction from the school board whether or not you want me to
Ask for it?
open up that vote on the teacher's contract.
Currently
To
stands at
get the three
4-1-3.
people who had abstained a chance, an opportunity to express their opinion and their vote on that.
I
on
think
that
that's an
line.
excellent idea, because I think we want the entire budget committee to have weighed in on this contract looking forward.
Who abstained?
Ray Peoples, Bill Spencer, and Mr. Valancourt. I don't remember his first
Dan.
name.
Dan.
Dan.
We're gambling that we get at least one of them to vote yes.
Well-
So it still says
Well,
recommended by the
their argument
budget
was they
committee.
didn't have enough
Yeah.
time to-
Yeah, which is fair enough. It was
And-
presented that
and
night.
We have
Yeah.
answered some questions that were requested by some of the group, so we have provided them with some more information, so. They haven't requested any more, so hopefully they're in a position to make that decision if, I mean, I personally would like to hear either their feedback, they can always vote to abstain again,
Yeah.
but I think, two of them have been members for a very long time on the Budget Committee, and I think the citizens would like to hear their thoughts and their votes on whether they support or not support the teacher's contract.
And if it doesn't pass on election day, I think it would be a key point looking forward to negotiating next year to have the entire, you know what the school board voted, and you don't have to guess what the budget committee voted, and you don't have to guess how the town voted. versus, someone could say, oh, well, last year's agreement had the support of the Budget Committee, or doesn't have the support of the Budget Committee, however it might come out. I think it's important that everybody's weighed in, no matter what the outcome is.
It's a substantial investment, so.
It is.
Okay.
So, do you guys want me to,
I think it makes sense.
either Brian or I, to move that forward? All right,
Is that a yes?
as a yes.
Alrighty, default budget calculation?
The default budget, at the request of the board, we did receive a legal opinion from council regarding the ability of the district to project increases on utilities. And at the risk of how this is going to sound, the opinion we got was there's a wide latitude relative to your ability to or not to budget that. So based on that opinion, plus the direction I think we received from the board at a couple of meetings, I think previous to this, I did level fund current appropriation for the utilities. So I brought those figures down to current appropriation. I also brought down the appropriation for self-funded programs to the same appropriation as this year. Taking that strategy in place to level fund appropriation where we could, I also added back the second grade teacher position that was cut for next year's budget. That is not part of the proposed budget, but it would be in the current appropriations. So I did add back in the salary and benefits, 81,779. So it provides a new bottom line for the default budget of 19,686,888 for the operating fund, 598,476 for the food service, grants of 575 for a total default budget of 20,860,364.
Which is 71,000.
Around 70, yeah.
70,000.
Yep, 70,000 difference
whatever,
from
yeah.
what it was before. So we were able to reduce it.
I'll make a motion to approve the default budget as presented.
Second.
One question, did Gordon give any guidance on the non-sped transportation increases, since we don't have a contract?
Well, it's not technical, what do you mean, as far as the actual amount?
Yeah, because we don't know,
That's-
yeah,
That's just a projection, again.
okay.
on the-
Did he comment on that one specifically or anything, or? Just because without normally it would be a no-brainer because you have a contract every year, but
Right.
we don't have a contract next year.
Right,
At the same time, they've basically told us to expect an X amount of
Right.
increase, which is the same as the water did too, right? And
I
he
think
said that
with-
was okay.
I think with
right?
this, it's budgeted at what we feel our commitment will be.
SPED is also mandated by law.
It's sped is meant,
It's
yeah, I'm
mandated.
looking at non-sped transportation,
But I didn't.
which is up 10%,
Right,
which in all actuality will probably be low, but, okay, yeah.
correct, right.
So Gordon didn't comment on that at all?
Nope.
Or we didn't ask him specifically?
No, we asked him to review the entire default budget with no specific
Yeah,
area,
he-
just to look at the appropriateness
He
of
probably doesn't know we don't have a
adjustments.
contract, though.
Oh, he knows that.
Oh, he does know
Yep.
we don't have a
Oh, yeah.
contract? Okay.
Just an aside for the information of the board, Nashua was scheduled to open their bids yesterday. That's been delayed 1 week.
Oh.
Beautiful.
That's not good. They
I
give
don't
a
know about
reason?
that 55,805 now.
Did they give a reason
That's the
why
only
they
one I'm worried about.
extended the bid a week?
Hope it's a good
No.
reason.
I don't know if they extended the bid date or the opening of the
Or just
bids.
the opening, okay.
Trying to get clarification on that. Right now, I understand it's just the delay of the bid opening.
I'm gonna make a motion to reduce the default budget by 55,805 for non-sped transportation.
I'll second.
55,805?
Second.
Without a contract, I think it's,
Well, there were some costs that we know are going up, for transportation in the sense that 2 or 3% was just the standard part of the contract. and then transportation to and from for athletics and stuff like that. Whether we have a contract or not, we knew that there were some increases that were occurring
This may
anyway.
have been additional transportation requirements under IEPs.
Well, that would be under sped transportation.
Oh, that's right, you're talking about non-sped.
Yeah, I'm talking about the,
I understand,
four
okay.
lines from the
I'm
bottom.
sorry, I misunderstood.
I mean, I think we should present the conservative number, and then we can specifically ask Gordon,
Yeah, that's kind of where I was feeling.
what's the right number here? We had it, we took it out because,
Gordon's advice was, in essence, the default budget language can be strictly interpreted or not, as you
gave us a
know.
legal answer.
And
Because
so
you didn't have to
the
stand in
answer
here and
is,
get beat up with it.
Like I said, you were at the risk
whatever
of
way
sounding
you
like an
cut
attorney.
it, whatever way you agree to cut it with everything.
And, I
So
mean,
if
that's
you're
what we
gonna-
did with
If you're gonna
utilities.
strictly interpret everything, which would
Right.
mean if the general transportation reduction comes out, then the grade 2 teacher stays in.
Yeah.
Right, so you're level,
That's-
you're basically
That's
level
kind
funding.
of how I'm looking at it.
Right, yeah.
I mean, both we expect to happen, but we're not contractually obligated, and it reflects what
Right,
happens here.
and that's-
And it's pretty much a wash, quite
Yeah.
honestly.
I mean, I think everything else on there is pretty straight. There's a lot of IEP-driven stuff that you make that case and you go.
Any more discussion?
If you find out, I'm not sure what the time frame is. Let's say it happens in 2 weeks, that you find out the Nashar's staying, and here's what the increase is gonna be. Then the default budget then be changed?
Yeah.
We can change it up to 7 days prior to the meeting.
If you get, new information that comes that
Yes.
allows you
That
to
gives
do
us
that.
about,
Yep.
You
12
just
days.
cannot change it after,
2 weeks.
7 days prior.
the 7 days prior or
Right,
after
right.
deliberative. You can't change the
So if
default.
we find out 4 days beforehand, it's gonna go up 30%.
yeah.
Still nothing we can do.
Well, yeah, you can't, for the default, you can't. You can't even make the motion at deliberative
it's
because the
gotta be-
legislative body can't change
Yeah,
it.
it's gotta be
Right.
prior to the
Yeah, we
requirement
would
of
need to, we would need to make the changes on the default budget
the operating.
by the 29th,
Yeah.
because that's a Wednesday.
And then otherwise, if we find out we have to try to change the operating budget at deliberative to account for that cost.
Because our warrant articles go up on the 29th. That's 7 days, so do we actually have to have everything posted by the 28th?
Sorry, Dennis, you said
Yes.
try to change it at deliberative?
The operating
As
budget.
the
Nothing operating.
warrants are approved.
Vote approved.
No later than 7 days prior to your meeting.
So-
Warrants
Not counting the
fall.
day of the
So,
meeting.
so that means our warrants would probably be posted next week, along with the default budget and everything.
Warrant's gonna be posted as soon as you vote them,
Yeah. So
Be
you
next
go
week.
the next-
so
next
long
day
as they're
it'll be
within
posted.
7 days.
Yeah. Well, our
You
next
don't wanna
meeting's
wait till
the
the last minute.
22nd.
Yeah.
Right. Is that next week?
Get them
Yeah.
posted.
All those in favor of reducing it by 55,805?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 400. Any more discussion on the default budget?
So that gives us,
The new number is,
The old number minus.
20 million.
20,804,559.
Was it 20 million?
20,804,559. You want me to break it down for general fund? The general fund would be 19,631,083, with the same default for food service and grants.
You're updating your presentation live? Oh, no.
It's already in print too.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Any more discussion? It's already, so we need to amend the
We
motion.
need to vote the bottom line now.
All those in favor of the new bottom line?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 400. Is that all we're
Next time I
here?
see Gordon. Man.
See him in 3 weeks. That's what I told him the other day. Said, bring your tap shoes on when you come.
Come here, Ted. Unless there's anything else, I think we can adjourn. We do
We're
need
not
to
doing
sign.
warrant articles?
You gonna wait till next Wednesday on the warrant?
Yeah, I'd say wait till next
Okay.
week. Unless someone really wants to vote for them.
The meeting on the 22nd, we will,
See the measure W2 was there?
In your packet was still
Oh,
a draft. Printed out the wrong way.
But not
I
next.
said, I object
Are
to
we
that.
off?
I said, I'm just gonna motion to remove
In
it.
there?
No,
Someone
I-
make a motion, no, we're still
Because
on.
what I-
I'll make a
my
motion
intent
to
was if
adjourn.
you did-
Second.
All those in favor?
you did-
Aye.
Okay.
If you did do it on the warrants, then I was gonna